Hello and welcome back to the Sideskip Gaming Podcast, episode 50. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by, from the 1950s, James St. Charles, and the executioner himself, the newly born Warzone Crusader, Crusader, Ted Libby.
Hello.
How is everyone this morning? I know it's a little early. I want to get your gauge. How we feeling? James, tell me how you feeling from the sepia
Jake, I'm feeling pretty old today, and gonna go back to normal.
I loved it. Thank you so much. A world at war. Everything we know is destroyed.
It Takes Two comes out smashing.
Exactly. That's right, because this is the Sideskip Gaming Podcast, episode 50, where every Monday morning an episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify, and I can confirm that the Spotify and SoundClouds are now up to date with all 49 episodes, but this is episode 50. That's half of 100. We keep doing this, we're going to hit triple digits. Once a week, we sit down and chat across...
That is how that works, yes.
Exactly. Once a week, we sit down and chat across 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. This week's topic, we're going to kind of do a slight review impressions of a new video game, because we finally got one. It Takes Two, the co-op adventure. And if you enjoy the show, remember to like, subscribe, share, and for the love of God, please tell your mother. We are a mom-friendly podcast. If they have any questions, send in your mom questions. Like, not questions about moms, but questions from moms. I don't want to have questions about moms. That'd be kind of weird. So, we're talking about It Takes Two. We got a good energy. We're feeling it. We were, living in the 1950s. James and I have played the first third of It Takes Two because it's a lot longer. Yeah. It's from Hazelight Studios, who did A Way Out and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's primarily co-op. I want to talk first off what we think of this, but then if we've played any of his other games and how this co-op experience differs from A Way Out and everything. So, James, we've played it. Ted, not hasn't it? No.
Nope. No, sir.
What do you think of the first 3 hours of It Takes Two?
I definitely by far one of the best co-op games I've ever played.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. This is made by what's his name, Joseph Fares.
Joseph Fares.
Fares, yeah.
Who seems to make two-player co-op games. This is his jam.
Yeah.
I think he hit it with like A Way Out. Like A Way Out was kind of like, this is a two-player co-op game that's unlike anything I've ever played.
Co-op experience.
And friendly to the consumer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brothers was not co-op, but you controlled two characters.
Yeah.
Like with each joystick, you controlled a character.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But then A Way Out, he really was like, we're making a co-op game, and it's split screen. I think my favorite part of It Takes Two and A Way Out is you see your player split screen like the whole time. Yep. So like I see what I play games with James. Yeah.
I look at your screen.
Oh, of course, you got screen sheet. But I think he took what he learned in A Way Out, and like that's much more gritty than this. This is a little more whimsical, and even though it's dealing with a heavy subject matter of a child's parents getting divorced, like it definitely takes its liberties in reality and goes kind of off the wall in fun ways.
Yeah. But very creative. Like
we don't have to spoil anything, but I think just how
what's the premise?
Yes. James, you want to start with the premise?
The premise is basically like, without spoiling too much, is I guess if you have to spoil like
you can spoil the lead-in, I think.
Okay, the lead-in is like of course, like Jake said, like your parents that are getting divorced, and the mom's an engineer, and I guess she's like working too much, and the dad's like kind of like
seems like a stay-at-home dad a little bit the way they
kind of like kind of like I don't know, the voice acting is really great, and the characters like you can kind of just like see how like they hate each other.
There's a great character, Ted, which isn't a spoiler because he's been in commercials, but there is a book, The Book of Love, who's like a self-help book through a relationship.
Okay.
He is kind of the mentor guide on this like spiritual journey as they attempt to get back to because they get shrunken down into dolls. The parents get through the magic of a children's tears. Okay. They get transformed into these dolls. One's wooden, one's clay. And this Book of Love.
The parents or the kids?
The parents.
The parents.
Oh, are you playing as parents?
You're playing as parents that are like separating.
Dear. Okay.
And I want to talk about kind of their conversations as well. But so you play as these parents, and this Book of Love is like your guide and your spiritual, like I guess mentor, like making sure you're ready.
Yeah.
And he is hysterical. He's just like the lines they write for this guy and like his energy, like a juxtaposed to like the very negative energy of the main characters is very good, like comic relief. So I'm every time he pops up on the screen, I'm like, oh, thank God, we're gonna have some jokes here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so what do you think, James, of so far, like the gameplay, and I think that's kind of where we should start, is how
the gameplay is clean. Like, I think one thing we noticed immediately, like, is the double jump's really good. You have dash, you have these
like a wall jump and stuff.
Wall jumps.
3D space kind of a deal. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not like a
3D,
vignette.
No, it's all third person.
You two characters can run around to space separately. It's just split screen.
Yeah, and it does the really kind of cool, clever thing that the Lego games have kind of started to do somewhat, is where like the screen will change. So like it'll go from being split screen to full screen when you're on like a platform defending the platform.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like we got into a boat.
Cutscene.
Yeah, or a cutscene.
Yeah.
But like we got into a boat and the boat was all on one screen, so it wasn't like we're seeing two angles of the boat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So and the angle play, like you just brought up, there's like sections where you do like 2D side scrolling angle, and that is really great. Like it changes on the fly sometimes to the puzzle. This game is basically a lot of puzzles. Like A Way Out, you're kind of like shooting. There were some puzzles, but you're just running and shooting a lot, which is fun.
Yeah.
But this one is heavily like puzzles to get through, like objectives and figuring it out, and then it takes two. Like usually they're all like you need someone else's help to get to this next area or to like get them through. So it reminds me of Portal 2. That's what I want to bring up. It's like the Portal 2 co-op puzzles.
That's what I was thinking. It's a little like Portal 2. I think what's really cool about how this co-op game is designed is it's not like both players, like in A Way Out, are given assault rifles and then they got to get through this level. James will be given one device and I'll be given another device. And I think, like, for instance, I think they talked about this in demos. So like James is given anti-gravity boots. And that's what his character now through this whole level is going to be dealing with gravity changes.
Yeah.
And I am given like a size amplifier like Ant-Man, so I can either be really small or really big. And
it's so good.
So like our puzzles are never the same, but they're always together, which I think is like super clever. So it's like James has to do this one thing with anti-gravity, so then I can get up to this thing to shrink down and do this. And just like how it keeps surprising you and sets up like, okay, so this is how we're going to use these devices through this series of puzzles. And then it adds like a little section to it that like changes up how you use the device. And I think like that's kind of the best part of this game is that like, you're like, okay, I kind of get what we're doing here. And then it's like, oh, I can do this with this gun or with this device. I think it's really clever. Like I've never played anything that switches it that much variety in like an hour of gameplay.
There's just so much variety here. And then it has like the mini games that it had in A Way Out, which are fun, and I suck at them.
Yeah, right. Did I win everyone?
I haven't won a single one.
Yeah,
but,
so then they have like little separate challenges where you play against the person using devices, which is also really cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I really recommend this game just for anyone to play like co-op. I think it's not a co-op friendly game that you could just play with someone that doesn't have a grasp of video games.
Yeah, you need to have like Mario 3D World, like kind of like level of.
Yeah, you need the basics.
If you play Super Mario 64, well, you can play this game kind of thing.
Yeah, like if you're someone who's just never played games.
This has difficult
platforming
gamer movement.
Yeah, exactly. This is not the fantastical girlfriend co-op game.
Yeah, it's not a Lego Star Wars game that you can play with your 5-year-old cousin and still have a great time. And you can't shepherd anybody through this game because the other player has to do so much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Which is nice. It's not like hand holding or it's kid friendly. It's challenging, which I think we like that. We appreciate like thinking out like even some of the boss battles is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with co-op games, usually they're short. They're sit down once experiences, but this sounds like you guys didn't beat it. Sounds like it's kind of long.
Oh,
so so A Way Out was like 3-4 hours. Like James and I played A Way Out straight through in one sitting together. Like on a Saturday night or something.
Yeah.
And a long time ago. And then It Takes Two, I was like, my plan for this episode was to beat it and play it. And like, Maddie's going to walk through the shop to grab something. But my plan with it was to beat it yesterday and then talk about it on the show. But obviously it's way longer than A Way Out. So it's about 10 hours I was reading. It's like 10 to 11 hours. Which makes me kind of excited.
Yeah, totally.
A thing too, which this game, I was telling James yesterday, we were joking about like, it takes two every time you have to accomplish something together. Like, oh, James, it really does take two. We said that like 45 times. Like
we said it a lot.
But what I'm excited about this game is it keeps surprising me and we're only 3 hours in. So I'm like really interested to see what the next 7 hours has to do to surprise me. And like, where is this game going? Because that's exciting.
I think once we do a full review, the last level that Jake and I just played is absolutely like mind-boggling how someone thought this up.
Yes.
How insane it is, but it worked so well. I think I was just floored by that one level, like the story, the one before that we're on right now. But like it's just.
I know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes the story itself to some fun, zany like, places where you're like,
someone thought this up.
Yeah, didn't expect we'd be going here. So I really do appreciate that about it. It Takes Two, and I'm like, I think the best thing too with that game is the pacing of it. We played for like 3.5 hours, and like I could have kept playing, but I also was like, I got stuff to do. I gotta try to fix a freezer. So like, I think that's kind of the very like interesting part of that game is just how the pacing is. Where I think even A Way Out within 4 hours, I was like, okay, like
there's
where
a
are we
lot
going with this?
In A Way Out.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to play the full thing and really dive into it afterwards. But it's definitely
So A Way Out.
Yeah.
This man Joseph Ferris's other game.
Yep.
I recall at the time it was like a little bit bland, and like the co-op was a little bit not cooperative in the same sense. You're talking about two different items.
Yes.
But you guys played it, and I remember you guys kind of being a little bit mixed about it. So to hear that this game is like so much better and more thought out seems like a huge plus.
Yeah, I think what was really cool about A Way Out, and James, you can kind of jump in or jump out on this, was it was very novel. Like there wasn't a lot of stuff like A Way Out, like these co-op games. Like James and I sitting down to play a story together.
Yeah.
And
a story built for co-op, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite parts of A Way Out was James and I. You pick your characters at the beginning of the game. So like James picked his character, I picked mine, and honestly, playing the whole time, I thought James's character was like kind of a tool. Like I didn't like him. And talking with James after the game ends, and I was like, well, my guy was like totally right. And James was like, no, my guy was right, Jake. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
okay.
So they really found a way to like bond the two characters to that player where you like felt how they feel about each other.
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of the weak part about A Way Out. I don't think I'm like bonding with I'm playing as the husband, James is playing as the wife. And I'm not bonding with these characters as much as I was with A Way Out.
Yeah, I'm not bonding with them at all either. Yeah.
No, like they're kind of like, all right, let's just do this. But what we're doing is far superior than A Way Out.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that because it's kind of fairy tale-istic and whimsical, or is it because the writing is just like flat or something like that?
It's just very whimsical. Like it is very fairy tale-esque, like slap. Kind of humor.
Absolutely.
Just really like, having fun with their environment and the story. And A Way Out was way more serious. Like you were playing like a serious co-op game, not really like you have to do all these challenges together. There's some points where it's like, hey, like do this, but most of the time it's like you're just both doing your own thing, shooting people.
Right.
Yeah. That's like I was very serious. Like in A Way Out, you would just get 2 assault rifles and like, all right, go hunting. There's a scene in the hospital of A Way Out where I think it's like the best scene in the game. Where, like you're escaping a hospital and it's stealth for both people, and like one person was sneaking while the other person's like having a huge fist fight downstairs, and like then it switches and it's like really cool how they do it. And
very cinematic. I love that.
And that was the one time where like one person wasn't always playing, right? Like it would just let James play for a minute. And
it would switch, and then like also different like camera angles. Like that was a very cinematic kind of level. Like okay, A Way Out also has those moments. It's just like sometimes, but
the pacing wasn't there.
The pacing wasn't there. Sometimes it would just really slow down. And you're
Gotcha.
Like, who is this? Okay, this is the story. Oh, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't think... I think A Way Out's ending has to be better than this. Because A Way Out's ending is seriously incredible.
Gotcha.
A Way Out is on Game Pass now with EA Play. Go play A Way Out with someone. It's really good.
Same deal. Like one person can play for free. One person can buy it,
With the Friends Pass, yeah.
Yeah, so... this seems super novel and really important to a co-op-centric game. One person purchases it for currently on Steam $40, which seems high. But then player 2 can play for free.
Yes.
Is that how that goes? So so whichever one of you two bought it, I could jump on with you and play this game for free.
Yes.
Okay, that seems really cool and really important to this kind of co-op genre, if you will.
And A Way Out had the exact same thing as well. So this is like Joseph Ferris's kind of intriguing way to get people into his game. And so James got it through EA Play Premier Plus, whatever.
EA Play Pro, $15 a month. You get all EA games when they come out to the store.
So cool.
Free,
And so he did that, and then so $15 and I'm playing along with him.
Gotcha.
So like,
okay. Yeah.
you know,
$7.50 is each is our experience.
Yeah,
Right.
Which, and
well
it's worth
worth
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any, Ted? I want to hear your kind of thoughts, impressions on what you know about It Takes Two, and then if you have any questions, kind of. About
I
the game
know
itself.
nothing. I'm famous
Okay.
for leaving the hype train at the station. I really
game's
don't.
hype.
Yeah, I don't really look stuff up ahead of time.
Check
But
the Metacritic scores too. It is.
yeah,
high.
I did this morning, and it's very positive right now.
Yeah.
Oops. But I am really excited that there are these like co-op games built around and for co-op, and to hear
Yeah.
that one person has to purchase it, or technically you can split it, and it's not this like, hey, there's this cool co-op game, I need you to buy it so you can play with me, is super cool.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing they're doing here.
Yeah, and kind of coming away from his first game, A Way Out, and kind of hearing, it's not that it was bland, it's just that it wasn't like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely
back
not 10 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10 kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of a B-rate action movie you go see at 2 p.m. in the theaters.
That's
It's
exactly
fun.
the way
It's
out
fun
is.
though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
fun.
Oh, it's totally fun, but it's also not going to win an Oscar. You know, like
Yeah, it's not an Oscar.
And to hear that he's only getting better as these keep going, I think is very cool. And I'm
Yeah.
excited
That's
to see what
also-
comes next. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm curious where he's going to take all of these ideas and how he's going to incorporate this. And does it become more co-op? Like, are they just going to purely make co-op games from here on out? Or are they going to make, 4-player games? And like, what is this?
Why not though? Because this is a market that like when I'm thinking about with you, just like how many co-op games are there out there? And I've always talked with like friends, like, hey, what do you want to play like co-op wise? Oh, there's A Way Out. Oh, there's Portal 2.
Yeah.
What else? It's like okay.
Call of Duty 5 has co-op.
I mean,
But so I think
yeah.
that's the no, that's a good thing to talk about, because that's the differentiator between this co-op and like Call of Duty or Halo co-op.
Yeah.
Like, you aren't just doing the mission made for one person
Yeah.
together. This mission, like the whole game is designed for me to have a set of tools and James, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how it balances that and also keeps changing it enough and makes it interesting while having like this whimsical story is truly unto itself. Like it's very unique. Like,
Right.
Yes.
I think a lot of co-op games, especially from the PS3, Xbox 360 era, was like, you're all Master Chief. But
Yes.
as soon as you go into game, it's 4 different people, and then you shoot them all, but then the cutscene happens, and then you're Master Chief.
yeah,
But
right.
but also you both have to own it. Like I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of free to play like battle royale games out there tonight, but it's just it's like you playing battle royale games and you get bored and you want something different. This is something different. A Way Out. It Takes Two. One person has to own it, and you can be like,
Yeah.
hey, do you want to play this game? It's free for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll play. it.
Yeah, I mean, we are all here because video games are interactive. I'm doing this and not watching a movie because of interactivity. That's the big difference. And so when so many video games that PlayStation seems to make are these single-player narrative experiences, it's like, all right, you can sit next to me and watch it, and we'll have a good time. But hearing that there might be a world in which 2 people can play it, and that is, part of the narrative, part of the cinematography, that sounds really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe one day down the line, a co-op game, a cinematic, movie-like experience built around co-op, and that interactivity might just be a standard thing that comes out every year, and I'm all about that.
Yeah, I think just thinking on that co-op kind of sentiment, but what is really cool about this game as well is the communication that you have to have with the person. Like, I'm thinking James and I, we play a lot of co-op together when we do, and like Gears of War, like we're big, like let's play these games together because
Also a
it's
great
fun.
co-op experience.
Yeah, like fun to play co-op, but that game is really a single player game that you can play co-op in.
Yeah.
And so like this game, like having to have the communication of like, okay, James, you have to. I mean, I'm gonna use gravity boots because we've already kind of spoiled that. But like, okay, it looks like I got to get you up to that place so
Yeah.
you can use the anti-gravity boots. How do we do that? Okay, I can turn big and move this thing, get small and do that. Like, it's really cool to like really talk through these puzzles and like you feel kind of smart with your co-op person when someone figures it out.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I love. And that's the same thing with Portal 2. It was just like in Portal 2, there's like sometimes there's one way to do a puzzle, sometimes there's multiple ways to do it. And with this one, there's also like multiple ways to do some certain puzzles, which I thought was like, oh, that's kind of creative. But then also like when the tools that you're given, you're like, oh, I could do this. Oh, then I could do this, and it's just really like nice that. And then also back to the co-op thing. The replayability for this game is pretty high because I'm playing through one character the whole time, but I can go back and play through the other one and probably get a whole totally different experience.
Yeah.
Different puzzles, different devices given to you that.
Yeah,
interact.
I would be fascinated if you do go back, James, and play it with someone else as the dude.
Yeah.
Matt, no, the girl's name is May. He's named something else.
May.
something, whatever. The guys' names. See,
Again, that's how forgettable they are.
Yeah, like they're kind of bland. But maybe they'll get better when they stop bickering all the time. The problem is they bicker too much where it's not fun to watch an actual. Maybe it's not supposed to be like a couple divorcing bicker through stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be fun.
So I have to say that the conversation that they have when they tell their daughter they're getting a divorce, very accurate. As a child that comes from divorce that was like 6 when his parents split up, super accurate. Like they sat me down and they were like, "Hey, we're getting divorced," and I was like, "Okay." And then the kid goes, "Can I go upstairs and play?" And they're like, "Yeah." And like I was like, "That's a really accurate scene for like a child. Like they can't process this information. Like good job."
Yeah, right.
Appreciated that. But I think like I forget where I was going with this. I started talking about divorce, but anyways, I'm excited to see what James thinks of it from the other point of view, and if it is as replayable, because I think there's a reality where it's not as well. We're like, well, I've done this, and I know that Jake shot the goo to do this, or like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like once you know how like the puzzles work, I was just like, yeah, it's probably not going to be as fun. Whereas on A Way Out, it's like the replayability is high there because you're just shooting people. So it's like, hey, I clicked that person's head better than I did last time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can just do it faster, more accurately. It's a shooter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So
not super puzzle heavy.
I'm excited to see what you think of it, James.
Are there any narrative changes that come with co-op that you guys have seen yet? Is there anything that one person can do that can affect the overarching story of it, or is it just you guys just work together and follow the path?
Yeah.
But I remember that in A Way Out. Remember in A Way Out, you could make the choices.
Yeah,
that would, really
that's kind of what I'm getting
That's
at.
not a thing so far.
Yeah, there's no choices. And I think that's on purpose. From what it sounds like, Joseph Ferris, from stuff I was reading about, like interviews and stuff with him, there's no collectibles in this game. There are no, I think there's no branching stories. Like this is a thing you're playing through. You're not supposed to dick around through all the levels and look through every nook and cranny to find, the wristwatches or whatever. You're just going through and completing the missions together. And that the purpose of this game is to do those cooperative missions rather than like 100% it doing various little tasks. That's why there are those mini games that you get to play against the other person and kind of.
There's Easter eggs too, which we found one, which is.
Yeah, there's a great Easter egg for his studio. So, but I think A Way Out is very good as well. But It Takes Two, I'm very excited to finish, and so far it's the most impressive thing I've played this year. I mean,
it's up there. Yeah. We were like talking about like Loop Hero being like at the very top so far, and that's telling. Yeah, I'm glad this game released.
There's not a lot of games out right now, so it's going to be interesting.
More getting delayed, like Back 4 Blood, and
people
are worried about that. I was reading on that. People are not happy.
So I want to transition. Are there any final thoughts on It Takes Two before we move on to somewhere else?
I'm excited for it, and I'm glad it's getting its hype. Yeah, I really like this idea, and I hope to see it grow for sure.
Yeah, I think you should definitely play it, Ted. That would be a game for you to check out this year.
I also like Joseph Fares. He's just very passionate and like says what needs to be said.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
I want to talk before we talk about what we're playing. Just very briefly, I want to talk about game delays a little bit because we kind of bring up Game of the Year. We like it here, and we're probably gonna have a very weird Game of the Year situation this year because stuff is gonna be really delayed. Like, I would not be surprised if Horizon 2 doesn't come out this year. Like seriously, God of War 2, get the hell out. It ain't coming out.
We're looking at a dry year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, so obviously COVID affected games last year, but a lot of the games that were released last year were basically done. And COVID was just the final QA process or cleaning it up, and they were able to kind of accomplish that. But a lot of studios work from home is very challenging. We're seeing that a lot with now Back 4 Blood being delayed. There was a Kenna and the Spirit Souls or whatever it's called. That animated game on PS5, that got delayed from spring to August. And a lot of games we don't know about. I'm sure Nintendo is just covered in delays.
I was going to say a lot of games that we don't know about and might not know about.
Yeah. So I think any game that has never released it yet, don't plan on it coming out this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think that's going to continue into next year? I mean, we're not experts by any means, but like, what do you see the reality of games being a little sparse, especially now that gaming shot up last year because of COVID?
Yeah,
that was his best year
I think
ever.
it continues into next year. I think 2023 is when you're going to see like the games that you want to see come out. We're just going to see like games that were delayed or like trickle in probably. Yeah,
I mean it's going to be rough. Working from home has delayed game development. It's really hampered a lot of people's creative process. There are hardware shortages that are stopping PlayStations and Xboxes from coming out. It's impossible to get graphics cards. Like, everything here is slowing down a little bit. I say we don't see things get back up to normal until 2023. But I also don't think that's a bad thing. As somebody who thinks there are too many games for one person to play coming out already, having a couple sparse years where we can all just get on the same hype train as a world, as a community. My entire household got really into Risk of Rain, and then soon after that got really into Valheim, and it was just this thing of like, well, there's nothing really out, and these are all kind of cheap, so why not, It isn't like, hey, there's 3 Ubisoft games coming out this month, you need to pick which one you're going to play.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely been using this time to go through the backlog of like the great games I've missed.
It's definitely a backlog year.
Yeah. Or replaying games,
Yeah, a shortage of releases does not mean a shortage of video games on the whole, and that's totally okay.
James, what's on your backlog that you're looking at this year?
Oh, I'm thinking about this game that's called Witcher 3.
Oh, you've never played that game before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's
pretty good. It's on the backlog.
Yeah, you should try their sequel, Cyberpunk 2077. Heard that one's real good.
Oh, that
too.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it's supposed to be really, really good.
I heard it's revolutionary. Changed how games will be made forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'll give that a try.
Are you really gonna play Witcher 3 again?
No.
I
Maybe. I don't know. Like, it just you get that feeling to play a game. Mm-hmm. No, I'm gonna dig through some games just to check out. Like right now, I have to get back to Yakuza. Like I want to. They released Yakuza 6 recently, so everything's been released now. That's like Yakuza, I can play it all the way through on PC, which is great.
That's cool.
But
absolutely
getting through 3, 4, 5, I don't know if that's even possible. I might just skip it all.
Have you beaten Like a Dragon?
No, that one is so long. I mean, I'm like 20, 30 hours in, and it's
you haven't even
amazing. The story is great, and it's just there's still so much.
Yeah,
right.
I can't play that long of a game. I've decided it's just too long. I can't play 100
very
hour
long.
game.
Like Persona.
Yeah, like I would love the idea of playing a Persona 5, but I know that there's no way I'm playing 100 hours of a game.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to play like 20 hours of a game now.
Right.
Yep.
Ted, do you have any backlog?
I want to check out Doom Eternal. I actually
yes.
There are a lot of games that recently came to Xbox Game Pass because of Bethesda that I want to check out.
Fallout 76, I heard, is a pretty good game.
Oh my god, here we go.
Shut your mouth.
Resident Evil 2 is on that list. Fantastic game from a couple of years ago.
Resident Evil 2 is so good.
That's so good. I can play that again.
Not a lot of games from EA, funnily enough.
No. Game recommendation for both of you if you haven't played them. The new Wolfenstein games are fantastic. I know that A New Order is not on there. Or New Colossus is not on there.
What's the order on?
Oh, is it not?
The Wolfenstein games?
No, just start with A New Order.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Order,
and know that the first hour is actually really bad. Like it's a bad video game for the first hour.
It's slow,
It's like really slow and just awkward. And then it becomes really good. And then A New Colossus is like one of my favorite single player shooter campaigns probably ever. Yeah. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
really great characters.
Prey.
Prey is
very re-released Prey, not the original Prey.
Yeah.
Prey was on Game Pass though.
Yeah. So I'm looking to check that out.
We tried.
I honestly, the backlog is so big.
Yeah. Well, let's just jump into it. I want to know what games we're playing because I've been playing games off the backlog. That way, I'll just tell you about those. But let's move around a little bit because I want to talk to Ted about what he's been playing. Because for some reason, it's just ridiculous.
I hate myself.
What next are you playing? Next? It's not Anthem next. No, it's just Anthem. Ted, tell me about Anthem.
So I got EA Play working via Game Pass.
Right.
Via a burner account. Thank you to EA customer service for finally breaking protocol and just telling me there's nothing they can say to fix my problem. And the man just literally said, you should make a second account. So be on the lookout for that. If you have linked an account before on your EA account, that's it. There is nothing they will do about it.
So dumb.
Jesus. Crazy. So I made a new account, got EA Play on my Xbox, and have been playing a gambit of EA games. EA Play is very weird. I get it. There's 2 stages. There's regular and there's Pro. Pro is for the modern releases, but there's also random assorted games that are on Pro, like Knights of the Old Republic's 1 and 2, which are close to celebrating their 20th year anniversary, are on EA Play Pro. So I know, yeah.
It's technically $15.
No, totally. But it's just this weird, like, why is that there?
I just want to have them, James. I don't want to play them. I just want to know that I could play them if I wanted.
Maybe it's just like good EA games are locked behind Pro because most of their other ones are just totally available. So I downloaded The Sims. I played The Sims 4.
Yes.
All right, yeah. So I saw this on Discord the other day. James, you'll like this. I saw this on Discord, and Eric, one of our friends who's Ted's roommate, was playing The Sims. And so I texted Eric, and I was like, why the fuck are you playing The Sims? But I literally, in the text, I was like, but if it's the Star Wars DLC, I'll allow it. And then he goes, it's not me, it's probably Ted. So I texted him, I was like, why the fuck are you playing The Sims? And he just sent me a picture of the Darth Vader in The Sims. And I was like, all right, I'll allow it. You're playing the Star Wars one. So tell me about The Sims, Ted.
No,
What's this?
I won't. This is going to be pretty short. The Sims, I continue to believe, is actually not a very good video game. I wanted to check it out because The Sims is one of those games with $2,000 in DLC.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
The Star Wars DLC, can you make like a Star Wars house? How does this work?
No,
What's
it's just outfits. It's just main character outfits.
So you have like Darth Vader walking around but cooking eggs on a stovetop?
Yeah. I believe Darth Vader, I made you, and your party outfit is Darth
That's
Vader.
me?
So yeah.
You made me.
I made you. I made a whole bunch of people. I made like 25 people that I know, and then started playing the game and immediately realized this game's not very fun.
Did you put my charisma up like all the way? Because that's where it's at. Like I'm just like really charismatic.
It's not how. I don't want to get into how The Sims works, but it's bad. I wanted to see if EA Play included any of the DLC and how that would work, because a subscription service that includes up to the actual amount, I think, is like $700 and something in DLC. If it's included, like, I'm in, because that's one of those games where the base game is kind of bleh, and then the DLC is what makes it over time. Nothing is there. It is just the base game. Everything else is still for sale, and it tells you that as soon as you load the game, and I was kind of bummed. EA Play Pro is the same. So I deinstalled that pretty quickly and downloaded a different monolith from EA known as Anthem.
Oh, that pile of rubble in the back of their truck?
Yeah. They might fix it, so.
I heard that.
No,
James lost that prediction already.
Yeah, the officially recently canceled and/or twilighted Anthem. I played that. I played about 4 hours of it yesterday, which I guess I spent a lot of time running around their little world, so like maybe it's 3 hours actually.
Are there people still playing Anthem?
No, absolutely not. So I mean, Anthem has been out for a year. I was looking at this in hindsight. It's a pretty bad game. I almost liked it. The actual gameplay, it's a third-person shooter with flying. But the actual gameplay kind of reminds me of like a Platinum game, like a Japanese-style action kind of game.
Like a Bayonetta almost?
Earth Defense Force
much more like a Vanquished. Like, I picked, you get your suit,
mech.
your mech suit. Yeah, it's more like power armor.
Oh, they're called javelins, which I think is the coolest thing in the fucking world.
They are called javelins.
That's so cool.
And that's kind of your class. And there's like a big heavy guy, which I usually go for. But there's also the speedy guy, and I really like. A lot of people said the flying is good, so I picked the speedy guy. And it was this really cool thing of like jump, fly, run over to a dude, do an actual like an in-game combo into a melee attack, and then pop up, fly away, and it felt really fun. Like the actual just running around, shooting, pop, shoot, move, doing those kinds of things. Pretty cool. Felt very like a Japanese action game, which I wasn't ready for at all. I was kind of expecting this to be a cover shooter, like a Gears of War, but it was much more mobile than that. And then everything else around that game is just terrible. That game is, it's one of those things where you can absolutely tell this was a live service first and a game second. Mm-hmm. Which that's something a lot of people said. I didn't really know what that meant. This game just throws you into a world and doesn't explain anything about it, and uses all this really, kind of oblique terminology about characters and the world they're in and kind of what's going on. The basic premise is there's some kind of super precursor race that has super technology that they've left long ago. They're long dead, and that super technology can create anything. And sometimes it goes haywire and creates randomly spawned events that teams of people called freelancers have to go and fix. It's like, this is clearly just a setup for a live service game.
They've been very upfront about that's like what it was. EA told them, hey, people love BioWare. You need to make us Destiny.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't make online games. And they're like, well, figure it the fuck out.
Yep.
You're BioWare.
Get out.
Yeah, and it's not a bad premise necessarily. They just don't explain that to you.
Yeah.
Like there isn't, it needed that like 5 minutes at the beginning of Lord of the Rings that just explains the history up
Yeah,
until
where
now.
Galadriel just comes in and is like, here's the history lesson.
Yeah, and does not have any of that. So you just are thrown in, and people are shouting on the mics, and things are going wrong, and you're like, I don't really know what's going on.
Shock and awe. That's the way to start a game.
Yeah, it was really rough, and then it does like 3 years later, and you're like, I don't even know where we're at. Yeah, but no, that game, there's a story hub world area where you get out of your javelin and you walk around in first person, and it is unsocial. There's no co-op to it at all. This is just a place where you walk around and chat to characters and pick up little like collectibles that you can read about the world in. Yeah, and it's slow and it's dumb and it's completely disconnected, because as soon as you hit like enter the game, the game completely changes into this third person co-op action that they really throw down. Like, they ram down your throat that this is a 4-player co-op. Like, it is. Oh. It was kind of a struggle to turn off the searching for 3 other players, which I did not find crazy.
No.
But it is like 2 completely separate games where they clearly had a 4-player co-op thing in mind, and they were like, hey, we should probably, like, we're BioWare, we should throw in a story. And apparently, the live service game plan, the roadmap for this game, was going to be completely story-based. Mm-hmm. I have not beaten the campaign by any means, but apparently this game kind of just ends, and then the idea is we're going to be releasing story content on a
yeah, like it's not a definitive end, if I recall.
No, it is like on a monthly or weekly basis we will be adding to this story, which was not premised very well and does not really seem very good, and also is completely separate to the game that you're playing with your friends. So it literally is that same problem of like, you finish the level and then the cutscene is just you, the main character, and it's not you, my squad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Like, and
That's
like
weird.
you leave the 4-player game world and go into the single-player hub, and your friends don't come with you. You're not a squad running around town together.
It's not like Destiny where you're in the tower
together.
together.
Yeah, there's no social spaces. It is almost like a bad single-player experience with this grindy looter shooter game thrown in the middle. It feels bad. It's rough. And apparently, like, I came here today to try and convince you guys to play it with me, but apparently the story content, the reason you're playing the campaign, is locked to whoever is player 1. So you could come
Yes, I've heard about this.
You could come into my game and we could play together, but as soon as you left, your story content, it won't unlock. You'd be back at the first level, which is ridiculous. You're building a 4-player co-op service game around a story, and it's a bad game.
It's I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna boast about myself for a second. It's like the one thing that I was right about. I played that demo or the beta, and like I didn't even think that it felt okay. Like I think they've made it feel a lot better since. Yeah. Like I remember playing that game and thinking it wasn't even fun to play.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like super hyped about it on the internet, and I was like, this feels like it's a bad game.
Do you remember the showcase they had for it? And it was like so rehearsed, and I was like, there's a problem here.
Yeah. And like I remember when that game launched, and everyone's like, oh, Anthem's really bad. And I was like, you're surprised the beta wasn't good.
Yeah.
But like it was so much money behind that game. People were like convincing themselves that it was going to be good.
I mean, it's a cyberpunk effect.
Yeah. Like I was thinking to myself as I was playing this, like, how could they have saved this? Because there was a moment where EA went into a boardroom and tried to figure out how to fix it and if they would do it or not. James made a prediction about it. And I think they needed to get rid of the live service part. This needed to just be a
single player game.
Not even that, just a not very good campaign where you and 4 friends can just fuck around in it. Yeah. Where you and 4 friends can do these really bland, generic, go over here and shoot the guy's missions, get loot, repeat, and then watch some cutscenes that are pretty high quality. I mean, we'll give them that. It's EA and BioWare.
Yeah.
But this idea that I'm grinding to some kind of end game, right, or that I'm comparing damages on pistols.
Games are.
What's up?
That's what all those games are. That's what Destiny is, and Avengers.
And I think if they wanted to save this game, which they chose not to, they needed to get rid of that and just kind of allow for this B-rate bad game to exist.
I'm kind of hoping that's what Outriders is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's a chance Outriders could hit that easy middle. Middle ground.
Totally.
So we're gonna see. It's on Game Pass soon.
That beta was not good though.
No, it wasn't great. But I think there's a nugget of something better there than Anthem.
Not for $60.
No, that's a $30 game.
But hey, Game Passers.
Game Pass?
The console free.
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
James, what have you been playing? Because Anthem. I think we talked a lot about Anthem.
No, that's fine.
That game's dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Ted, have you played Risk of Rain lately?
No, I watched my roommates play the new update.
Yeah, because the anniversary update came out, a free update that they promise on their roadmap. They're looking good to go for their paid DLC that's going to start coming out, I think, this summer. And this update just brought in a new hero, like a bandit. It brought in like a new enemy, like every single thing it brought in like a one of, and then it changed some items, like how they worked and balances, and a bunch of fixes. Like it basically just like bunch of fixes. It reworked the ending, the ending of the game. So
oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Completely different, and added a new enemy there. So it's a good update.
Yeah.
For people who want to like get back in, and it's funny because it came around. Didn't it come out like 1.0 around this time? Maybe
I think
it
so.
was like maybe it was like April, May. But
I thought it was a February release. Yeah, totally. Maybe not.
That game came out a year ago. That's insane.
Yeah.
1.0, like, because when did Hades hit 1.0? Was it May?
Yeah, it was like middle of the last year.
So they both hit like 1.0 in May. So yeah, anniversary update, like it's around this time, I guess. So, and then they truly hit it out of the park. So if anyone wanted to get back into Risk of Rain, it's nice.
Yeah.
That being said, you play through it,
game.
and then it's like, okay.
Yeah,
that's it. It like you play through it once and you beat everything. It's like, okay, I got bandit, I got all the. Oh, there's new abilities for classes, but
that's cool.
it.
Yeah. Did you unlock Did you unlock the hidden character?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I don't know. There's a hidden character now. I don't know how to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new kind of hidden stuff behind the scenes that you can kind of dive into. It's neat. What you been playing, Jake?
What have I been playing? Well, because I've already beaten Risk of Rain to my first try, so I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
Well, they changed the ending, so really you haven't.
You have to play the new ending.
I'm good. Like I was so good that first game. I don't want to jinx it. Two things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about very quickly Call of Duty Warzone. Been playing that a lot with everybody here at the podcast. We've all played it.
I played that game once.
Ted jumped into it 2 days ago. And I'm going to be honest, James. I had to explain the Battle Royale to Ted. Like, he knows what Battle Royale is, but kind of like the idiosyncrasies of Warzone because it's specific. But we start dropping. Ted gets a kill right away. Ted killed a man.
Ted's a gamer. Ted's a Call of Duty.
Ted fragged out.
That
was a bit.
I've dropped into school in PUBG. Like I know how to kill
you know-
somebody.
you know-
with nothing,
You
you know,
dropped
like
into
I can
school.
kill a man with my
School.
bare hands.
Yeah. It was pretty impressive. I was pretty proud of him. But really enjoying Warzone, having a great time.
I'm going to say a little bit about that. I think Warzone might be my favorite on this Battle Royale iteration.
Oh, yeah.
Simply because of the things that make it separate. Respawning at the buy stations, your teammates can respawn pretty frequently. We were respawning a lot. Love that. That was much needed in other games. And I think they have since added them in.
Well, I think Apex is the closest second.
Yeah,
game
Apex
that I would
kinda-
go back to.
Apex started it.
Apex started it, and I think that
was
was a really good addition to this whole thing. Also, the idea that in Call of Duty you have loadouts and you can find a place to just click a button and like
I love the loadout.
your
you're geared. Because that's my biggest problem with Battle Royales is I
Not having your gear, not having your guns.
Yeah,
Like,
just
that's
just
the worst thing ever.
Yeah, just kind of picking up a gun that I've never used before and then dying and then picking up a different gun that I've never like it can get really rough and you don't really feel confident in a lot of these situations. So just having like, okay, this is my thing. I'm going to run here and get my thing and then, it feels a little bit more like a Call of Duty game. I really like that.
Yeah.
Also that the gulag is ridiculous and fun. Whoever thought of that for a Call of Duty game, I think is a genius.
Oh,
just because
it's a great idea. Ted, you missed it though. This is the second gulag, the variation of the gulag.
Okay.
The first gulag was incredible.
Yeah, the first gulag was great.
You were in like a bathroom.
This new gulags.
Yeah.
The new gulag is like not well designed. The first one, awesome. I miss that gulag every day of my life.
Yeah, that gulag.
Just whoever thought like, oh, we need to add that 1v1 rust me, bro.
It's
like,
so good. Yeah.
In this game, it's cool.
1v1 to come back alive is like my favorite thing.
It's so dumb, but it's so bro shootery. I'm into it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Loving it. Loving
plays.
Warzone. And I'm gonna be honest, it's made me realize how good at video games James is. Playing Warzone with him, I'm calling the shots. James is the executioner. That guy's he's off there just lighting someone up with a submachine gun, and it's great. It's great.
It's fun.
The game I really want to talk about is we're talking about backlogs. So I'm playing Hollow Knight on Xbox. It's on Xbox Game Pass. This game is fucking phenomenal. Excuse my French. It's insane. Pardon me saying phenomenal. No, it's dude, it's really great. I'm surprised that Ted's never played this game because Ted loves Metroidvania so much.
Yep.
It is a Metroidvania that is so focused on exploration that I'm almost lost in it and still enjoying it. it's massive. I mean, we've talked about it. It's like a 40-hour video game. I'm probably 10, 12 hours in. And I'm loving it because even when you're lost and exploring, you find something that's going to upgrade this.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this is a shop where I can buy this. This is cool. But I was actually playing with and my roommate was watching it last night, and I was playing it, and he was like, so what are you doing here? And I was like, well, I need this money, and I got to go all the way across the map to this guy to upgrade my sword, and this guy's got this. So it's like, what I love about the game is that you're constantly moving through the world rather than going to like one hub world and doing everything on the surface. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's very common in video games now, where like, thinking about like, I guess, Anthem or like a big Destiny kind of game, like you go out, you do your mission, then you come back and do all your shopping and upgrading at the station, where like in Hollow Knight, there's like risks to getting these upgrades. And like, I got to traverse all the way through here to get my sword upgraded, or to drop off this little worm that I rescued to get more money. Like, I think that there's like really great game design that's like, we're going to kind of make you earn this. It reminds me a lot of like a Dark Souls in that way of like, you got to earn leveling up. And I think it's really good. And dude, the art and the music is fantastic. I really recommend both of you guys play. It's actually the game I put on our prediction Wednesday.
I know. I mean, at this rate too, you're probably gonna win unless Ted pulls a miracle. I'm already out, basically.
Well, no, I don't know, James. I think I'm out too. So
yeah, I'm pretty confident I'm gonna win.
Oh, jeez.
Everything's getting delayed.
Ted's is very loose. So
I should have just gone up for like a delay thing. Like this gets delayed. This gets delayed.
But I really recommend Hollow Knight. I'm like actually surprised how much I love it. I would say that there is a little thing of, you do get lost a lot because it's a big ass map.
Yeah.
But I'm the progression system and what you slowly unlock and how it reveals stuff to you it's great. I'm really recommend this game instantly. I've played so much in the last like 3 days. It's kind of gross.
Cool.
So
good.
The game is a classic. It seems to be going down in history as a classic.
I think so. Which I'm very proud of that. And I'm ready for Silk Song. Bring on the sequel, let's do it.
Yeah, the sequel's going.
Is there a release date attached to that? Okay.
Yeah. It's coming though.
So
it's coming.
just we know a Hollow Knight 2 is coming is basically it.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out it was supposed to come out as DLC. Silk Song was originally DLC.
That's what I heard.
That
was my follow-up question.
And they started making it, and they just literally made another game.
Okay.
And so they're like, well, we're making a new game. It's supposed to come out last year, COVID.
Yeah.
And now who knows what's coming out.
Okay.
So they're Australian-based. I think they're pretty clear with COVID, and so.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I really recommend it. So. Well, thank you guys so much for watching the 50th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. That's been Ted, that's James, and I'm Jake, and we will see you next week.